Welcome to Jesus-Centric Life. I'm Donna. I'm here with Pastor Josh, and we want to welcome to the show Dave and Sheri Himmelburg. Tonight, we're stepping into something very sacred. We're not here to really explain what happened or tie it up in a neat box. We're here to honor your son, your story, his story, and the way you've walked through something that no parent should have to face. Thank you guys so much for coming, for sitting here with us, and for sharing. And I want to start out, tell us about Sean. And we all have smiles on our faces because that's a huge question. Tell us about Sean. How do you even sum up Sean in a few sentences? I don't think you can.
Larger than life.
Amen. Amen.
Quite a wonderful character. As a son, we just thoroughly enjoyed everything about him. He wasn't the easiest all the time. Donna, you know that. Had a lot of interactions with a lot of different situations, but he loved more than we ever knew that he loved.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we found a lot of that out after the fact, but during the time that we were raising him, he was quite a guy.
Yeah, I had the privilege of having Sean in youth group. He grew up here at Peace with Christ, and a larger than life. I think that is a great way to explain him and to define him, and the way he lived life. It was big. He had a lot he wanted to accomplish, and accomplished most of it. Yes, for sure. What made Sean Sean?
Sean was passionate. When his heart was touched, there was no stopping him. He would just meet somebody and they would capture his heart and his attention, and there was no stopping him.
Yeah.
No limit.
He loved sports, and he lived through sports like I've never seen anybody do before. He spent time in many sports, football, basketball, lacrosse, I think, was probably his favorite, and he was a force to be reckoned with, and it was so much fun. I missed that so much watching our boys as they grew up play sports. We spent so many cold nights in Colorado, and it was just one of my favorite parts of him growing up.
Yeah. And you have another son. Tell us a little bit about him and the age difference and all of that.
Our youngest son, Kelton, is 6'4". Sean, I have a joke. We're the Verizon commercial. I'm 5'3" plus. Then Dave is 6'2" plus. Sean was 6'3" plus. Kelton 6'4" plus.
Wow.
So Kelton's the largest, but he was the baby. There's 16 months between them. People thought they were twins most of the time.
Yeah. Wow. And I remember hugging Sean. It was like getting on a stepladder might help a little bit. Yes.
Well, as they grew, I felt shorter and shorter because I used to be the big one, and then I was looking up to them and hugging them from afar, it seemed. So.
Wow. Kind of making that shift. Life quickly changed. Can you share with us a little bit of what happened and what led up to the loss of Sean?
Good.
It was during the summer, and we had Kelton at home from college. They were both in college. Actually, that's not true. Sean had just stepped into his professional career. Kelton was at home. Sean was living in Pueblo. It was a Friday night. We had gone out. Kelton and Dave and I had gone out and had pizza and come home, and we were in bed. It was between 12:31. Kelton just barged into our room and said, we have to go. Sean's been in an accident. It's very serious. It's a rollover. His roommate's calling. And I jumped up and I said, get dressed, go.
Hardest drive I ever made in my life was from here to Pueblo, and I don't think I ever got there any faster than we did. Lots of prayers, lots of unknowns. That was the moment that I think we realized that we can't get through this alone. And we prayed about it, cried a lot, and didn't really know what to expect once we got down there.
So there was no communication as you traveled.
No, they had called. We were trying to get information to find out where was he. We didn't have the information. Where was he? What was the road? What was the situation? I called Colorado Highway Patrol. They said, we're going to have to put you through to Pueblo. And then Pueblo, to give us more information, just said that you need to meet at the roommate's house, meet at Sean's house. They knew at the time that Sean was gone. We did not. They didn't want to tell us that on the way down there. They were going to call us back with an update, and they did not ever call.
And I believe his roommates knew too, but they did not also share that with us, and we ended up going down to the police station.
After his house, yeah.
Yeah, after we went to his house. And that was hard, obviously. They shared with us at that point in time that he'd passed, and of course it was disbelief. How do you know? Are you sure? Is it our son? Sean loved tattoos, and ironically, that was one of the things they said. They named off some of his tattoos, and so that was pretty evident at that point in time. Never got a chance to see him again. Last time we saw him was at a Jimmy John's or Subway or something after a lacrosse game, just the weekend before that. So yeah, it was a very difficult time, and we were together as a family at that moment, and they were wonderful down there. It's just you don't know how to even start to share that with the rest of the family, because by the time it was all said and done, it became daylight, and we ended up back at their dorm room, Kelton's dorm room. He was going to. No, he wasn't in school then, but that's where he went for some reason. And that was tough. The phone calls that we made, the conversations that we had, that was pretty horrific, quite honestly.
On the trip down, could you even let your mind go there?
Yeah, my what I was processing was Dave and Kelton went immediately to death, and I didn't want to do that journey. My first fear was getting to him, making sure he wasn't hurting, and making sure he wasn't gonna live a life of pain. I just couldn't get to him fast enough.
And then if I remember right, you guys stayed down in Pueblo at the site for a few days, right? Were you in and out of the site?
No, they wouldn't let us to the site. It was interesting. It had happened at 1:30 in the morning, and as Dave said, the sun was coming up, and they didn't want us there. We could look across the highway and see all the lights. That's how close Kelton's dorm was. So we saw everything that was going on, but they wouldn't let us near.
Can you describe a little bit those first days after? And how did you?
We slept together as a family. We couldn't sleep apart. It was a conversation. We just had to be together. And we felt Sean. We felt his presence. We knew he was with the Lord, and that's where we rested. That's where we talked about that a lot, prayed about that a lot, but we didn't leave each other's side for quite a long time. And the conversations with the family was very, very difficult because our family's all in different states, so it wasn't a face-to-face, it was a conversation. And then friends, you had friends that he grew up with, and friends that we'd been with through sports and thick and thin, and very difficult.
Our home group.
Our home group was another. Yeah, the whole communication piece of it, I wasn't even, probably the hardest thing for me was my mom, but that conversation, and that was actually that morning I called Mom, and those conversations were something you can't plan for those. You cannot have, there's no script.
No.
There's no way to know what to say, and lots of tears, lots of fear. My biggest thing was I felt as though I failed to keep my son safe, because that's my job as the father. And I couldn't do anything to help that. And I didn't want him to be afraid. I didn't want him to be in pain. I didn't want him to suffer. And that just went through my head constantly for the first few days. It was hard to not go there. And
How do you walk grief together, yet individually also like that? Because you're grieving together as parents, but you as a mom, you as a dad, you're also going through your own individual struggles. How did you do that?
I think as a mom, it was something I like to put on a brave face and pretend I'm in charge and in control. So I tried to be that person for Kelton and Dave, and then inward, I raged. I wanted to go away into a field, and I just wanted to scream at the injustice of such a young life.
you know, and they say you're not supposed to bury your children, and it was so surreal. It was hard to understand. It was hard to wrap our brain around it. Lots of tears, lots of anger. Yelled at God quite a bit. Had that conversation with him, but later on, somebody said, well, God can handle that. And I think it might have been you, Donna, actually, that told us that, if I remember correctly. But it's good to have those conversations. And we stood pretty strong as a family. We leaned on each other a tremendous amount. Spent a lot of time talking, spent a lot of time together. Shared a lot of stories of Sean, which we still do. We love to do that. That's one of our favorite topics of conversation, is to share with our memories and our circumstances with Sean.
Does it take you a while to get there? Or were you ready? I know when we sat down, I think it was Sunday when I came over, and we laughed about a couple things. And is that hard, or does it really take time to be able to talk about it?
When we're in Sean moments, and by that I mean when we're feeling Sean, because we refuse to not feel Sean. He's very alive for us. He's very much in our heart. He's very much with us. And it's hard not to be happy when you're feeling Sean, when you're sharing Sean. Mm-hmm. That came right away. And I told everybody, you can come and cry with us, but you have to come and laugh with us and share our Sean story, because we all have them. So the laughter is, if you're going to do yourself a vulnerability and an honest moment, you have to allow that too, because that was him.
He was we have some very fond memories and funny memories that we still laugh about, that are just, we just giggle to ourselves sometimes. And I'm like, Sean.
We use your story a lot that you gave us immediately, of him pulling in and jumping out and being at the pearly gate and going, wow, what a ride.
And it was. I just told the Village Inn story. I'm not going to share that on the air, but a beautiful story of Sean messing around with his friends in front of Village Inn that had some other consequences later on. But just a lover of life, and took it by its tail, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's so healthy to share the gamut of emotion. I think sometimes we want to in the bad only feel the bad, and in the good only feel the good, but the reality is life is both of them juxtaposed together. Yeah, and that's so healthy, I think.
And we did both, and we actually lost friends over it and gained friends over it.
Lost friends over his death?
Yeah, they
a lot.
They walked away because they had our Sean had grown up with these other young men, and I think there was a guilt thing. I don't know why, but they just stopped being friends, and it was a really hard concept to, you know, they couldn't face being there and being in a relationship. I think I don't know if it was guilt. I don't know what it was. We never really got to the bottom of that, but that's what it felt like. Like almost like, oh my goodness, we don't want that to happen to us, or we don't, you know, I can't believe that happened. And I don't know. I'm not really sure. And we had a few of them that we haven't talked to since that had kids his age, friends. And they grew up together. They played sports together. They did all those things. And they just kind of walked out of our life. And that was hard.
Yeah, because you've already gone through an unimaginable loss, and now you're losing more people.
And we didn't realize it was happening at the time. It just was gradual because we were going through grief. We were going through a lot of stuff. And you sit back and you go, wow, where's so-and-so? Where's... I mean, after the funeral, after the memorial service and all that, it was a different story.
And I can't imagine like that a tragedy of that magnitude doesn't kind of affect everything in a way, right? Like it probably changes who you are and changes all of it, right?
Yeah. More than we thought. There was more to it. I mean, you know it's going to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be deep and it's going to be hard and it's going to be a lot of things. But I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
How many years ago?
This year is going to be, this is 26, it's going to be 12. 12 years. August
2nd.
Yeah, and what's so fascinating to me is like that many years ago, and because you started out, you remembered what you ate that day. Like that day is just so like the traumaticness of it just makes it so vividly memorable for you.
Yep. Every detail.
Very hard to drive to Pueblo, still to this day. Fortunately, they've done a lot of construction, so the look is different, but I'll never forget the drive. I'll never forget the signs. Everything was just amplified in my vision in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and 12 years later, do you still, like, are there still things that, like, yeah, you said the driving to Pueblo, like, are there still things that are still painful to this day? Like, this happens or this happens, and it just brings it back.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yep, he was very passionate about, we were all born in St. Louis, almost all of us, and the same hospital even, which I found very ironic, but Sean especially was a very large St. Louis Cardinal fan.
Yeah.
We decided to do his funeral, very controversial, and do it Cardinal. If you couldn't do Cardinal, fine, you're not a Cardinal fan, but you have red, bring red. A lot of people didn't care for that. And that's when we became intentional about being different, because that's what Sean was. Sean was very different. We had people come to the funeral, to the memorial, that we were afraid to let in the door because they were scary people on the outside. And they came in and shared the most heartwarming stories. And we couldn't believe that they said, Sean came to us on every level. He didn't care what we looked like. He didn't care who we were. He was there with his heart, and he welcomed us in, and he stayed, and he was a friend. And so we learned more about our son after that moment than we ever had known.
Now, our listeners might be wondering, what kind of big, scary people are you talking about? He was a part of the mechanic world. He loved cars,
Yep.
and he loved to tinker on them, and he loved people that loved to tinker on them.
And tattooed people and
Yep.
large people who were large like him, who were athletic. So the athletes, so the car.
Bikers,
Yeah,
a few of those.
a lot of bikers. He was into a motorcycle, which we did not know.
No, he owned one we didn't know about. That was interesting.
There'd be a long talk one day when you get to
One
have
day.
it.
Very long talk. Very long talk.
He's going to go, Dad.
So you had each other, Kelton for sure, but kind of focusing on you guys. How did your marriage get through that?
We talked a lot about that. We spent a lot of time. We went through a lot of therapy. A lot of couples don't survive that, and we know the statistics. We kind of went through that whole process. It was tough in a lot of ways.
Ironically enough, we had some things prior in our life that's when I first felt my faith grow to the point where there's nothing on earth that's going to shake my faith. And I learned that the first time. And when I had that happen, I kept sensing that when I said to God and I prayed and I said, this is more than I can bear. And he said, I know, I've got you. And he did. And it didn't go away and the pain doesn't stop. But you now know that you don't have to do it alone, that he really has it. And it sounded so cheesy before I experienced that, but it's just a feeling you can't understand, that you know you're going to be okay because you're not alone. And he really is going to take it, because it is more than you will be able to bear ever. And it doesn't quit hurting and it doesn't go away. It comes in waves. And I just had sent this to, we now have this thing we call our club. We hate this club because we don't want to be in this club. But when people are in this club, you need to understand that it's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to understand that it doesn't go away. You just learn how to deal with it. You learn to walk around with that hole that is a part of you now.
Well said.
Yeah, that you kind of mentioned the paraphrase the verse, but 1 Corinthians 10:13, and it says temptation, but I think it's just any struggle. But no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful; He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. And I think like a lot of times people think, well, like I'm strong enough to handle it, but I love how you said it, that like He won't give you more than you can handle with His help, right? And I think that's the key difference. It's not like there are some things that we as humans can't handle by ourselves, but with God, all things are possible.
And part of that is that He gave us one another. He saved our marriage the year before. And that was hard, and we were grateful, and we were walking a path that we didn't understand and had never experienced before. And then this came along, and it felt, I didn't know how we were going to survive it. But I truly believed that God was going to work through it. You know, everybody says He works for your good. And I never thought, how in the world could this ever be good? But we've learned a lot, and we've grown a lot, and we've moved to a different phase in our relationship because of it. And we look at things differently. We look at each other differently. We look at Kelton differently. I think we do it in a more healthy manner, in a more realistic manner. There's not a moment, not a day that goes by that we don't realize that this could be gone.
Yeah.
And it puts a different perspective on things. And we've been through a lot. And there's nothing, you know, in 2017, someone broke into our house and stole everything. In 2013, we had a bad time. In 2014, Sean passed away. I mean, we kept getting these hits, and God used them to grow us. God used them to strengthen our resolve. Things that He made us realize what's important and what's not. And family's important, and friendships are important. And you just got to stay the course and know that God is good.
Yeah.
He is. We're living proof.
Yeah, it makes the person who's behind you at a red light blaring their horn and losing their mind, you want to go, oh, honey, let me tell you, we got real problems, not this. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those verses I think you kind of mentioned, but we take out of context a lot, like, so it needs a little bit of framing, but it's Romans 8:28, for we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who've been called according to his purpose. And I think like shallow Christianity sometimes is, well, good things are going to happen to me because I've got God, and then like something happens and you're like, where were you, God? But I think the verse is really saying that in the midst of those bad things in life, that God doesn't stop working, that he grows us sometimes through the hard. And I think that's what it's teaching, and that's what you guys seem to be witnessing to too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Satan attacks when we're vulnerable. And I think that's the hardest thing. You got to remember that God's got this. And, like Sheri said, there's these little cliches, but when you live through them, they're not cliches. It's life. It's God's working within us and through other people, through Donna and other people that reached out to us. And what was the comment? Storm of the gates of heaven.
Denise Grimmeroth brought food to my house, and I opened the door. And if you know Denise, and I know you do, she's 2'0". And she said, Sheri, and she put a fruit tray in my hand and said, I just want you to know we are storming the gates of heaven. And I dropped. It was everything I needed to hear, and it was...
It's perfect. Words of God.
What are the rituals, the things that you now hold on to that you, I don't know, touch points that you remember, Sean? Like, what are the things that you do to keep his memory alive, to keep talking about him, to keep remembering him? It took me a minute to get that out.
We have Dave's sister is an artist, very talented artist, and she made a beautiful painting of Sean. It's the one that we have on his niche, his ashes at a memorial garden. It's a little emblem. So we have that picture blown up. It's everywhere. It's on his Facebook page. It was just a beautiful picture. He was wearing his Cardinals shirt. He was at a Rockies game, of all places, at a Rockies game. And
we won't bring that up.
We won't bring that up. We'll move on.
He had his Cardinals gear on, though.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Yeah, thank heavens.
He represented. So we see that every morning. For the initial beginning, when we were trying to learn how to keep doing life, we found ourselves doing things wrong. And Kelton said to us, I found myself praying to Sean, and I had to go, what are you doing? We are thankful Sean's in heaven, but we don't pray to Sean. And I was like, you're right. And I understand what you're thinking of, because you're crossing that into a daily ritual. But we look at that picture every morning. We talk to him.
I tell him good morning every single morning. Yeah. And good night.
Mm-hmm.
It's right at the bottom of the stairs when we come from the bedrooms. So that's one of them. Our therapist said to find a ritual for the holidays. The first few holidays are still hard, but the first 4 or 5 years were really hard because your family tradition's gone. It's broken. It's almost like starting over, and we did, and we incorporated some. I still put all the ornaments on and his ornaments, and that's a very big part of our Christmas tradition. We had a candle that we bought just for him and burn it for him. That's actually not a real candle; it's a battery candle. So. What was the other? We visit we go down, we have a memorial at the crash site, is what we call it, down in Pueblo. And we go down there annually and clean it up and put flowers on it and change the picture, because the picture gets ruined. And I fortunately have the ability to print those out. We used to do 14ers, and then we got old. So this is fun. We'd do a 14er on the August 2nd, and we did it for a few years, and we're like, well, this is dumb. This is 4. So now we do like 11 teeners and
have a beer.
Yeah, and have a beer.
We do. We have a shot of Jameson, because that's what Sean liked.
Jameson. He decided that St. Patrick's Day was named after him because he's Sean Patrick. So we would we'd go to the top of a mountain and do a shot of Jameson. Stopped the Jameson too, but we did that for a number of years. What else?
Well, when we stopped sending out Christmas cards, but anytime we sent a Christmas card, we would hold the picture. And people didn't like that. They didn't care for the fact that we were still holding Sean's picture and felt like we were kind of living in the past. And I thought, it's okay. I know who Sean is. I don't have to keep reminding people. So we would still sign our Christmas cards, Dave, Sheri, Sean, and Kelton. When we send presents, we'll send them that way. And
Yeah.
we got tattoos, which I never in a millionth years thought we would do. We got Sean's tattoo. Kelton went to his particular artist and had that same artist who did Sean's tattoo do Kelton's.
A duplicate.
So we've done silly little Sean things like that.
We took the St. Louis Cardinals logo and incorporated his initials into it, so it looks like the logo from the their Cardinals logo, but it's actually his initials.
Oh, cool.
So Sheri has one and I have one. Kelton got one too, didn't he? Yeah. So, yeah.
And Kelton's going to get married. Is the fiance going to get one?
That's not going to happen. I don't know.
She has plenty of her own already.
Oh, okay.
So I doubt it, but she has given up Rockies for Cardinals.
She has.
Oh, she's come to the
Wow.
dark side.
But she won't give up the Avalanche, and that was great in 2019, so we really enjoyed that
Yeah. Yeah.
when we won the Stanley Cup.
So we like her.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know. All right. So kind of as we wrap up, there's two more questions I want to ask. One is, what is the greatest lesson that you learned about God through this?
He's faithful. 100%, bar none, faithful. He stayed with us. He walked with us. He listened to us complain. He listened to us scream at him. And he never gave up on us. And that's not just words. We felt that because we wouldn't be sitting here today had he not. I know I wouldn't be.
And you echo that also?
Yeah, I really believe that, yes, I think that sums it up perfect. I think God is so faithful and yep, there's love. There is so much love. And even though there's a part of you that is waiting to be back in heaven, to change addresses to heaven, he gave us a gift of feeling Sean still in our soul.
Yep.
And I think that is a gift.
We feel him every day. And that's not by chance, that's by design, I think.
So you mentioned a little bit earlier, there's this club that you don't want to be a part of. What are your words to parents who are entering into this journey?
I unfortunately have some very good girlfriends of mine who have been in this club. It started probably, I'm going to say, 10 years ago, and I had a high school girlfriend reach out and say, I know we haven't talked in a long time. I lost my daughter. Will you speak to me? And it opens the gate and you're like, of course I will. That's the last thing you want to do. And it's not that you don't care and you don't want to relieve the pain. It's that you know how much they're hurting and you have to go back there every single time and you go back to that point. And it's hard. It's hard to go back and to rip that wound open again. But it's what we're called to do. And we know that the hardest part is when they come and say, when is it going to quit hurting? That's the hardest thing in the world because it doesn't stop hurting. It doesn't. And you don't want to say that to somebody who only wants to hear that the pain is going to stop. That's hard. And it's a good opportunity to talk about faith. Again, the cliche, but you have to share it. And I have to honestly say, there's no way through this without faith. You will not make this alone.
And you have to feel it. You have to go through the feelings and all the stages of grief, all the things that they teach you. When you're going through it, just know you don't have to go alone. I mean, that's, Pastor, you say that every day or every Sunday. You don't have to do it alone. And once you realize that, the pain doesn't go away. That hole never gets filled. But God's filled it with his love, which now in my mind, in my heart, Sean is part of that love because he's with the Lord. And so that, to me, gives us the opportunity to grow. Doesn't stop. But God stays with you through the whole time. But to have that faith is the most important piece of it. I would agree with Sheri.
I'm going to let Pastor wrap us up, but I just want to thank you guys. I love you deeply. I'm so thankful that you came on. It took you a little bit to pray through and think through. And one day you came and you were like, we're going to do the podcast. And that was super exciting because I wanted us to share Sean's story and you guys' story of faithfulness. But as part of your church community, just so proud of you guys for your love for each other, for not giving up on each other, and your love for your community, and even the dumb people who walked away. I don't understand that, but we'll talk about that after we're not on the air. But you just don't give up on people, and you love them even in their specialness. Yeah.
We couldn't have done it without the church. We really couldn't have. No. We really, I just can't say that enough. And it's so true because we were at the end of ourselves, and that's when you guys finished that journey and pounded the gates of heaven.
So many people did. So many people did. And I think still do.
Denise said that really well. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us share our story.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, I just wanted to close, like, this is kind of what come to mind. It took me a little bit to find this verse, but this is 2 Corinthians 1, 3-4. And it says this: "Praise be to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of compassion and the God of all comfort." And the next part is why I think it really sums up kind of your story and you guys being here, who comforts us in all our troubles. You talked about that. But then this is the next part that I think I see you guys living out so well, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort ourselves that we have received from God. And I think that just, describes, I love that you said that, like, the pain never goes away, but yet you're still able to give comfort to others. And I think you're only willing to do that because you were willing to recognize and acknowledge your pain. And so thank you for the work you did so that you might bless others now. It's a hard situation, but it's you guys have done the best you can. And so praise be to God for that. And praise be to God and thank you for you guys.